with your testimony, please?
Yes, Madam Chairman and members of the committee, thank you so much for having me. I'm going to talk very quick. Chris Sevier, de facto attorneys general. There's about 24 states that are running this bill. This is a bipartisan measure. This bill is a result of a lot of multi-state federal litigation against big tech. I worked with FBI and special forces do extractions in human trafficking. I've been shot at on human trafficking missions. I personally litigated against tech on this topic. And so I'm going to talk very quickly. So Representative Sampson's bill says this. It says, going forward in the state of Maine, any retailer of an internet-enabled device is going to have to ensure that the product comes with a filter that's automatically activated that blocks by default websites that are known to facilitate prostitution and human trafficking, and websites that display X-rated material that would be injurious to children. If the consumer is an adult, they want to have access to adult websites, they can. They just have to show proof of ID to the retailer and express an interest to have the filter removed. There is no database that's formed from this bill. And so what this means in plain English is when a member of your district goes to the Best Buy, a mother goes to buy a computer, or a school goes to buy computers for their schools, instead of making the mother or the schools have to go to Geek Squad to pay a lot of money to have a third-party filter installed, the product's going to go ahead and come with a filter already installed that just blocks the material by default. This is a common sense burden shifting scenario pursuant to the First Amendment, where consumers are going to have to choose to opt in. We've heard lots of bills today on criminal justice reform. This bill will do more to prevent human trafficking and crime than any other measure since the inception of the internet, period, full stop. 3 quick bullet points. Case law. Ashcroft versus the ACLU. It was the ACLU's idea that filters were the least restrictive means to this problem. The Supreme Court agreed and said Congress undoubtedly may act to encourage the use of filters. It can encourage parents to use filters and the tech companies to develop better filter technology. Point number 2, Ginsburg versus New York. This is a very clean way to understand this bill. It's called the display statute, which Maine has. It's a statute that says if you live in Maine, you want a gas station or a newsstand, you can sell Playboys and Hustlers through your store, but the retailer is required to take that X-rated content and put it behind a blinder rack that can only be removed if the consumer is an adult. They show proof of ID and they pay for it. This is just the digital version of that existing display statute. There are all kinds of exceptions and so forth carved out in the bill I'll be happy to address, but it basically, again, is designed to where the people of your district don't have immediate access to torture pornography websites or prostitution websites. Another point that Representative Sampson made, why is it that a 12-year-old in the state of Maine can't go see they can't buy a Playboy from the gas station? They can't go see an R-rated movie, but they can walk around with an X-rated theater in the form of a filterless iPhone they got from the local Verizon store that happens to be located next to the theater and next to the gas station. It's a double standard. It's a crime now to distribute pornography to minors. As a former prosecutor myself, I'm all for criminal crime prevention. This really will do an enormous amount to protect law enforcement. As Ernest Shell said, sex trafficking has gone from the street corner to the smartphone. And so what this bill will do is it will do an enormous amount to proliferate human flourishing, protect children, and reduce the serious problem of human trafficking. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't give you the 15-second warning. I got was not paying attention to my timer. I see that there are some committee questions. Go ahead, Senator Khan.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Mr. Sevier. A couple of questions. So you mentioned that this filter would go on the product itself. It wouldn't be something that's online. So this bill seeks to make so that every product that's sold in Maine has to have a filter on it. Is that, do I understand you correctly on that?
Yeah, so basically it's internet-enabled devices, which means laptops, cell phones, internet service providers. This isn't a product that regulates the internet. It's not about providing your age or anything of this nature. This is a product's liability issue where we're saying the current condition these products are sold in are dangerous and defective. And so we've worked a lot with the Retail Association and the ACLU exhaustively on this topic. And we put into the bill that the retailers have permission to charge their own separate filter deactivation fee for profit. So sometimes we just joke around and say we should call this a new tech revenue stream of 2021 because it's going to make them new revenue. But we're telling these tech retailers and manufacturers, listen, you guys are the superseding cause of this continuing problem. We're an explosion in domestic violence and human trafficking because they have not done stuff to block those websites by default. Now, we don't want to get rid of them, but we do want to make it more inconvenient to access. We want to make the objectively healthy choice the easy choice, if you will. So sorry to go on a tangent, but the answer to your question, yes, it's internet-enabled devices, laptops, cell phones, ISPs.
Okay.
By default, have to block the material. But like selling Apple would have to sell its products with
Thanks.
parental controls activated. Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Yes,
So then you also mentioned that this is going to help protect law enforcement. I don't understand how that is. Could you explain that?
Yes, ma'am. So basically, in terms of, we're really focused on a lot of criminal justice reform. We're big advocates of trying to keep people out of jail, because once they've been accused of crimes, we've heard in other bills today, it's a big mess. And so law enforcement, we in the 1990s, in the 80s, we didn't have an explosion in human trafficking. It was only once we had the internet. And we're not against the internet. We're not against product. We have lots of friends that work at big tech. We're not for that, but we want them to scale back the dark side of their technology. Law enforcement has been overwhelmed by the fact that prostitution portals are above ground. And, we deal with lots of Johns, people who've been arrested for prostitution, and they say that the problem, they didn't grow up wanting to become a person who hires prostitutes or engages in human trafficking activity. But what happens is it's just so easily accessible. These websites are above ground. Anyone in Maine can do a search for this stuff and order up something online, and it wrecks communities. It brings in enormous drugs. Yes, ma'am.
So then just to get to my question though, so you're just saying it will protect law enforcement because it's going to reduce the availability of this, and so therefore reducing their workload. Is that, would I be understanding that correctly?
That would be an accurate characterization of what I'm trying to say, by basically saying, by closing this door by default,
Right.
you have the power to do that. There are tens of thousands of men in Maine that will not take the affirmative steps to show proof of ID. Now, they don't have to put their name in a database, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They
Okay.
have to show proof of ID, and they would have to request to have the filter removed. And there's just tens of thousands of guys that won't take that step. The door will be closed. I mean, when I'm in court and I'm before judges, I'm always telling the judges, Your Honor, there's just some doors in life that are better left unopened. We want the door closed, and we want people to have to take the affirmative step to open it. That then can expose them to an enormous amount of criminal liability. We're not just talking about human trafficking. We're talking about revenge pornography. We're talking about child pornography offenses. So
I understand. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Committee members, are there any other questions? I just had one quick question for you. I think you probably heard me ask the other folks. We do require people to tell us their town and state of residence. So if you could do that for us before you sign off today.
So I'm living in Hollywood, California as of this week, but normally I'm living in New York City.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, committee members. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let's see. There is one other person still with a hand up, also named Christopher Sevier, and I'm just going to ask this person. Could you please identify yourself?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes. Can you just tell us who you are, please?
Can you see me?
We can see a picture of you, but I would like you first to just identify yourself, please.
Yes, I'm Reverend Shane Anthony. I'm a pastor in the Madison, Tennessee area, and I've been working this bill here.
Are you here to testify in favor of LD 1719?
Yes, I am.
Could you activate your video as well, please?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out, but I'm not sure how to do that. I don't see the
I can prompt you from this. Nope, I can't prompt you from the side. Okay, go ahead and provide your testimony, please.
All right, but you can hear me. So I'm a pastor in the Madison, Tennessee area, and I've been working on this bill here as well. And I can tell you as a pastor that I see firsthand pornography destroying families. Even just this week, dealing with a family whose father's leaving a wife and children, and he's been watching pornography. And this bill and I just want to say simply, this bill would require internet-enabled devices such as a cell phone, a tablet, a computer, a laptop to come with a filter activated by default. That's simple, just that simple. And you can't just enter your age and make it go away, because kids these days, they're smarter than the parents. And I have another friend, a good friend, a father, who tried to block his kid out of something on the computer, and the kid figured out his dad's password. And the father seemed like he was helpless in trying to block his kid out because the kid was so technologically minded. And all 50 states have the display statute. So I believe it's more than time that technology would catch up with this. A child can't just go buy a Playboy magazine, but any child can just turn on his phone and watch anything he wants. Any 8-year-old, 7-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old can see any filthy thing. There's absolutely nothing to block them or stop them. And it's just a simple one-time activation fee. If you're an adult and you want access to X-rated obscene material, you buy this laptop, you pay your $20 activation fee, and the store unlocks it for you, and you take it home and you have that obscene material. And I want to just say lastly, I think this bill is a no-brainer. I don't see how there could be anything against it. The United States Supreme Court made it clear that the states have a compelling interest to uphold community standards of decency. So a statute requiring a filter deactivation fee would be such a thing. I vote in favor of this, and I just wanted to share those thoughts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And I didn't catch your name. You were quite clear about
Reverend.
where you're from. Hang on a second. Go ahead and if you could spell your last name, please.
Sure, Anthony, Anthony. Shane Anthony.
All righty. Thank you so much. Committee members, are there any questions for Shane Anthony? I'm not seeing any. Thank you for providing testimony to the committee today.
Thank you.
And now I think that we have heard from everyone who was here, who had raised their hand to testify in support of 1719. Is there anyone in the attendee space who wishes to testify in opposition to 1719? Not seeing any. Whoops. Is there anyone who wishes to testify neither for nor against 1719? Again, not seeing anyone. And so with that, we close the public hearing on LD 1719 and thank Representative Sampson for being with us this afternoon.